I want to talk to you guys about newsletters, but there's a couple of things I need to do first. So the thing I need to do is sign the contract for my apartment for the next 4 years. I don't know if I'll stay there for the entire 4 years, but the contract is a 4-year contract, and that's where I'm heading to now. I'm actually gonna sit down at a cafe and do some studying, more than I managed to do on the bus, and then sign the contract. So let me tell you a bit about like newsletters and why I love them. I only subscribe to like 6 newsletters, but I read them like basically religiously as soon as they get into my inbox. And it's because med school is pretty hard, and I usually don't have time to like watch a lot of videos or watch a lot of content or consume a lot of media. But newsletters are A, I can read whenever, B, they're like always relatively relevant because you can opt in, and it's not like the YouTube feed or whatever, or like TikTok. And I always learn something new from these 6 newsletters. And so that's why I love them so much. Let me get to the cafe and then we can talk about the 6 newsletters. I think if I could only like choose one newsletter, it would be the Published Press by Colin and Samir. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, newsletters. It's all about things of the creator economy, YouTubers, TikTokers, Spotify people, and it's not all like about Mr. Beast or like Eric or like big creators in the US or that speak English on YouTube. It's about Spotify and TikTok and other newsletters, and it's so interesting and so great to like have this like small insight into what all of these other people with alternative careers are doing and how much they are able to do, which is always a bit also inspiring to me personally, because I'm kind of there but not really, because I'm still like a small channel, etc. So I don't know, it's always interesting. If I refer, I think 15 people or 5 people, I get a hat. Check the links in the description. And they also post like job listings that other creators might have, which obviously I don't have the time now, especially currently where like we're about to start exams, but it's just nice to like know that there is an opportunity out there to work for a creator. So yeah, I think it's one of my favorite newsletters. Earlier in the video, I was talking about how like in med school, we don't really have that much time. And so this next guy, Sahil Bloom, he has one newsletter called the Curiosity Chronicle, and I think he divides it into 2 parts, or he sends out 2 a week, which are like slightly different. The first one is the Curiosity Chronicle, which is like basically like an article about something he finds interesting, which are usually quite interesting, but I feel like they take up a lot of time, and I don't think I'm the target audience for that. It's like about improvement, and like so I receive it, but I don't really read it. I enjoy the ones he sends on Friday, which he calls the Friday 5, which I think are more digestible to me, because it obviously has 5 things: a quote, I think an article, a tweet, a video, and like a link or something like that. They're all quite interesting. And it's great because there's always like 5 different insights that I get to acknowledge and absorb, but I can selectively choose which ones I absorb more or which ones I delve deeper into, which is nice. But I always learn something new when I read it, if I do end up reading the long one, and I definitely always learn something new when I read the Friday 5. I think my second favorite newsletter is the one by James Clear. It's called 321. I don't know exactly what day of the week he sends it, but it has 3 quotes by him, 2 quotes by others, and then 1 question. I just enjoy the quotes. So for me, like my ideal newsletter would be like 3-3, where it's like 3 quotes by him, 3 quotes by others. The question is like very, very, very like self-help, self-improvement based, which makes sense because of course James Clear wrote one of the biggest books, self-help books of all time, Atomic Habits. I haven't read it, but I love his newsletter, and I definitely will end up reading it at some point, even if I'm not the biggest fan of the self-help genre myself, which might be a topic for another video. But yeah, honestly, like the quotes by him, great. The quotes by others, always great. Like every time I read it, I end up with a small nugget of information that I can either come back to later, or that will leave me thinking for the rest of the day, or sometimes the rest of the week. So now that's the first half. I'm gonna finish my breakfast, go sign the contract. Well, okay, I'm gonna finish my breakfast, do some work, go sign the contract, and I'll see you guys later for the next. The contract has been signed, and obviously I don't have any footage of that, but it happened, and I guess you'll have proof when I move in a couple months. Right now I'm walking to a place where I can sit and eat, but also just sit and study and take out my computer without taking up a lot of space, which unfortunately ends up being fast food. However, as I'm walking there, I want to talk to you guys about another newsletter which I subscribe to, which is 3 Minute Monday by Chris Williamson. It's a bit controversial because I find a lot of what he says interesting. I just don't necessarily think it's true or agree with it. So it's always nice to be to understand or hear or read a perspective that I don't necessarily subscribe to or agree with. However, sometimes it does annoy me because I'm like, that doesn't feel like it's something that's A, correct, or B, should be like said or whatever. So it's always controversial, and sometimes I just skim over them because like I'm not in the mood. But other times when I'm feeling like I want to spark a debate or like think more about a subject, I'll see what Chris has to say, because usually we don't agree, but he's quite smart and he interviews a lot of smart, intelligent people on his podcast, which I also used to listen to. But yeah, I don't know, 3 Minute Monday is nice, and obviously it comes on a Monday, and it does generally take like 3 minutes to read, so it's always a nice, quick, short read. Newsletter I would like to recommend you guys is The Map is Mostly Water by Simon Saris. I think even though I don't always agree with everything he says, it causes so much like reflection and introspection in me reading them that I just keep reading them. They're so good, they're so well written. He's such like a different person, I think, to me, but also to like a lot of people. And it's just like, I think reading, for example, one of his like best pieces to me, especially now that I live here in Milan, but even before when I lived back home, where like it's a very historical building, is In Praise of Gods. And I'm not religious or spiritual at all, but I think reading his pieces have like kind of convinced me to like look at it in a different light. And also probably it's been the closest I've come to having like a spiritual experience or a spiritual realization, which to me was crazy when it happened. And now like every time I go out to Milan, especially right now where I'm also taking photos, it just forces me to see things from like a different light and appreciate the old different architecture way more. So it's just, I don't know, I've never come across writing like it. And so whenever he does post, because he's also quite inconsistent, but I guess that's part of his shtick, that he does it because he enjoys it, not because he needs to, which gives writing a different kind of tone or a different kind of motivation. I don't know, it's just great. I just really enjoy it, and I think you should check it out. As I'm nearing Camp Luz in the end of this video, I just want to talk about the last newsletter that I liked, that I really enjoy, that honestly feels like a breath of fresh air, because I think this woman like perceives life, or has like such a different lens compared to mine, at least. Her name is Ava. I don't know her last name, but the newsletter is called Book Bear. It's just so like such a different way of perceiving life that you realize, oh, so there like are other perspectives out there that like you're just not aware of until you read them in a inbox. Which is honestly kind of cool, kind of crazy, but really cool, and I just love her newsletter. But yeah, that's pretty much like the 6 newsletters I subscribe to. I'll see you guys next time.